All right, welcome in, my beautiful members. We are here to take a look at February. You will see on the screen here, you can, I put a calendar up for February. This is something that you can download in your announcements page if you want to, or you can make a note in your own calendar, these transits. But I do like to put this out for you guys. I messed up January a little bit because I offset the dates. The date, I think I started the month a day later than it actually started. The dates were correct, but the days were off. I did put a correct version of that up, so hopefully you guys saw that and got that. But February, this is a correct calendar. And just something that I wanted to point out to you guys is the full moon in Leo, of course, on the 1st of February. And then we have the new moon, also a solar eclipse on the 17th. We have another eclipse and full moon taking place early in March. I believe it's the 3rd. One thing I want to point out, we have a lot of outer planets moving into Aries, okay? If you missed Phoenix Frequencies Live that we did, for my Phoenix Frequencies members, we talked about dreams during this time. And that was recorded and put up for you guys, so you can go back and watch that portion anyway. I didn't record the personal stuff that I did for the people that were attending live. But Saturn moving into Aries on the 13th. We have Mars square Uranus, which I highlighted that in red because I got little flashing red lights when I read that. I was like, oof, okay, this could be significant in some way, shape, or form for the collective as a whole. So pay attention to that date, circle that one in red, okay? But let's welcome February in. It's certainly not going to be anticlimactic, that's for sure. It's going to arrive with a different kind of gravity than I think we're used to. There's a lot less space between intention and consequence now, especially as Saturn shifts into Aries. You might find that what you engage with is going to respond more quickly. You may also find that what you've been avoiding is going to get harder to ignore. And this is just because there's something external. Let me put it this way. Your internal structure is changing, so these external things aren't going to feel so pressing. By this point in the year, okay, most people can feel that like certain ways of moving aren't working anymore. And for some, I think for quite a bit of the collective actually, delays could feel kind of heavier. Like, why isn't something happening already? Okay, why isn't this happening? You might be feeling that now even. The distractions aren't going to be so distracting as well, I feel, from what I'm sensing from this month. And there is also this like unspoken sense that something very real is expected of you. You may not know what it is. You may not be able to put your finger on it, but you may feel that sense there. And February is really going to carry that expectation forward. There's not an urgency around it, but it does feel something like it's inevitable. Okay. So February is, where the vision really begins to encounter a sense of friction, but it's going to be in a meaningful way. There's going to be some kind of meaning behind it. You may find that ideas that maybe felt exciting at one point in time are asking for some stamina from you. Dreams, big time, coming up, okay, which is why I covered that in the Phoenix Frequency Live. Again, that's there for you guys to take a look at in your transmission vault if you desire. There could have been some dreams that really lived comfortably in the imagination, but I feel like that's really going to start like requesting some time, some effort, some follow through from us. This may even be where a lot of people really discover where they are really inspired or what they're really committed to. You may also notice some subtle emotional responses to this shift. So pay attention to that because that's going to be important. Also, something that I mentioned in that live with Phoenix Frequencies, motivation is going to feel, there's going to be a change there. There, it, I don't really know what to name that feeling. I can't put up like my finger on what the feeling is. Texture, it's got some texture to it. That's the word coming to mind. So you may also find that like desire is going to become quieter, but much more serious. And so this is the point where something either really roots into your life or it's going to fade out because it wasn't really meant to be carried long term. So let's look at the core theme of February. There is this theme that's running like beneath every transit this month, okay? But February isn't really arguing with what you want. It's asking you, though, how you are living in relation to it. And the gap between the identity and the action is going to become much more visible. Again, I think that's because a lot of planets are moving into Aries. That's the initiation, that's the I am. Especially in places where you might have been postponing responsibility or waiting for some kind of like external permission to let you, let you do the things or do the thing. So integrity is really going to matter a lot more now. It's energetic integrity, I want to say too. It's not necessarily moral integrity because that alignment between what you say and what you choose and what you sustain is really going to be highlighted. It's really going to come into view. And so, where you might find this alignment existing, you may also notice that things really move forward with a bit of surprising steadiness. Discomfort that you may feel could become almost instructive for you. So just pay attention to where those things might really arise. Okay, so first thing, right out of the gate here, we have the full moon in Leo that is happening on February 1st. This is really bringing something into the open that has been developing quietly for a while. You might find some things coming out into the like information, even I feel could come through. We're shining a light on something. It's coming out into the open. Okay. But again, something that maybe has been developing quietly. There is a real strong emphasis on emotional truth here. Leo governs the heart, and this lunation really highlights where the heart has been restrained or where we may have been negotiating, or even like filtering for approval from people, places, things, whatever. Okay. Also, I want to say Leo rules leadership. Just on, if you're not reading your weekly astrology, I've been bringing in, the world stage, what we could see on the world stage into those. So pay attention to those. If you're not reading those weekly, you're really not getting the full benefit of your membership. So just make sure that you're going to the codex and you're looking at that. I typically post them on Sundays. There may be occasionally where I'm late, but I usually have them done the week before and ready to go. So I have them scheduled for the Sunday on Sundays, depending on where you are in the world, about 8:45 in the morning or so. Okay. But Leo rules leadership. So this could be some things coming out about leaders. I just intuitively am picking that up. So keep in mind, though, that situations really involving recognition, even creativity could play a role in this, or like personal expression may reach a visible turning point. This is not really about being seen by others, but it's more about, on a personal level, seeing yourself more clearly. But I'm telling you, I think that there could be some light shown on some people, if it's not already, as we approach this full moon. Once that happens, okay, there's going to be compromises that don't make sense anymore. And so there's going to be, I feel like you're going to see some action there. Fire is an action energy. So, um, yes, let's talk about Uranus stationing direct in Taurus, which is taking place on February 3rd. Oof. Uranus's influence really concentrates. So in Taurus, the focus lands on material stability, financial systems, uh, work structures, certainly self-worth. Okay, Taurus rules the second house. So something that has been really paused or stalled, you might see really begin moving again, but not not in the same direction it once was. This reactivation tends to favor like choices that are innovative and sustainable. Short-term fixes won't feel stable. They won't feel satisfying during this time, or actually going forward, because Uranus is, of course, one of the outer planets, and so this is going to be in this transit for a little while. There is a growing awareness, though, that what you build must support you long term, not just giving you like this immediate relief from pressure. This is going to be quite a big transit here. So pay attention to that, okay? All right, then we have Mercury entering Pisces on February 6th. Now, as this is happening, you're going to notice your mental landscape softening here. Communication could become much more intuitive. You could also notice that there's clarity that doesn't really arrive through logic or debate, but it's going to be more through emotional resonance and even like subtle cues. You may notice that conversations carry more subtext. There's a like maybe even subliminal things coming through. You may also notice that silence. There's information in silence. It's almost like silence is speaking much louder than it normally does. So I want to tell you, like, this is not going to be a time to force explanations. It's going to be more of a time to listen for what's being felt versus what's being said. Okay, pay attention. Pay attention. This is going to be an important month. Okay, it's not going to again. It's not anticlimactic for sure. Okay, then we have Venus entering Pisces, and this is happening on February 10th. This is really going to deepen the emotional and relational sensitivity. You'll find that compassion is going to increase. You'll probably see this collectively. Hang on, I'm just checking my audio. Testing. Yes, okay. Just making sure. There could be this sense of longing that you notice is heightened. And I feel like the potential for idealization could also really be heightened as well. Certainly, relationships are going to feel more fluid, maybe even more tender, possibly more confusing because of that Pisces energy. But that's depending really on how grounded you are in your own needs. And so this transit Venus in Pisces is really highlighting the difference between unconditional love and our own self-abandonment. It's going to highlight where our boundaries are unclear. That distinction is going to become apparent very quickly, okay, around this time. So also pay attention to that. Make a note of this day as well. Okay, then, dun, 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 we have Saturn entering Aries on February 13th. This marks a major shift, okay, in the collective tone. Pay attention to the weekly astrology I put out for that week. Ooh. Attention is really going to turn toward our personal authority, the initiative that we're taking, the responsibility for our own direction. There is going to be much less tolerance for hesitation that might be rooted in fear or rooted in this feeling, like in the sense of like I'm gonna fail. The work now is to act with discipline. Okay, even when our confidence is not quite fully formed, you may notice like you're feeling the fear and doing it anyway. this may be something that really is initiated for you. So, yes, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's like you're gonna learn as you go kind of thing. And so, this is really the beginning of a longer cycle that is going to reward, our consistency. It's not so much about the intensity that we put into it or the drive that we put into things anymore, but it is about our consistency. And so you may notice that some new leadership emerges, maybe leadership in your own life. And it's going to come through follow through. It's not by forcing, but it is by that, follow through. I'm going to follow through on this. I'm going to keep, stick to the promises that I made. I'm going to take responsibility for this. So that's something that you will notice. Okay. Oof. Then we have this annular solar eclipse in Aquarius again on the 17th. This eclipse is really going to initiate a reset around future orientation. I feel like as a collective, individually for sure. I mean, if it's happening in the collective, it's happening for us individually, but you may see it more. Certainly, you'll feel it individually, but you're going to see this more highlighted in the collective. I think this, at least with this one in particular, because Aquarius represents humanity. It represents the collective. And so something about our long-term path, our roles within our communities, even like our sense of contribution is really going to begin to change. You're going to find that old roles really loosen up for you. That's going to give you the ability to free yourself from those old roles. The expectations are going to, you'll find like dissolving, and you won't feel a lot of pushback. Like if you're not showing up under these expectations anymore, you're not going to find people like saying, hey, you didn't do this thing that I expected. You're not going to find that. This shift is really going to feel subtle at first, but it's going to carry some long range implications. This is really going to be a moment of seeding some things. It's not going to be so much about like a resolution around this time. It's going to be more about what we're planting. So pay attention to what begins kind of quietly and what is existing without this sense of resistance around it. Okay. I feel like that's going to be noteworthy as well. All right. Then we have the sun the very next day entering Pisces. So after the eclipse, this energy naturally kind of turns inward. So Pisces season really invites this integration. What you may have like initiated up to this point is going to need some space to settle. Rest may become, let me put it this way. Rest is going to be like this form of intelligence. It's not going to be something that we're avoiding anymore. Like we're listening to when we need rest, when we need to settle, when we need to ground. And then we're going to trust the timing, right, around things. We're going to trust timing when we feel like we need to become more productive. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. 1 second. Okay. I had to pause it because I didn't want to sneeze in the microphone. Where was I? Yes. Trust timing, okay, around productivity. Don't push just for the sake of like certainty, grabbing onto certainty. Like I'm going to do this because, I need to make sure that this is set in stone, okay? Pay attention to when you feel like you need to rest. Pay attention to when you feel like you need to be productive. So this is where we're learning how to allow, and we're learning how to make that part of the work. Okay. All right. Next up, we have Saturn conjunct Neptune, another noteworthy alignment here. This is really reshaping the relationship between our faith and reality here on February 20th. Illusions that are unsustainable are really going to dissolve. It's already happening, but I think this alignment is really going to solidify that. And so at the same time here, you may notice that fears that were never grounded really lose their hold on us. And what kind of is left over is a vision that we can actually live and not just imagine. This is going to be a moment where your commitment really becomes devotional. And that's not because it's easy for us, but it's more, it's like this is our truth. We're being honest about this. So many people make quiet, irreversible decisions around this time about what they're willing to build. Okay, pay attention again. This is going to be an important month. Pay attention to this. Pay attention. I would have like a dates listed, written down. Again, maybe you can take that calendar and make notes. Maybe I'll make a, if you guys are interested, I can make a section where you can make little notes in it. Um, but you're going to want to pay attention to what's coming up. Okay. Again, you're going to want to use one filter for collective energy. And then, okay, how is that trickling down to me on a personal level? All right. All right. Let's talk about Mercury stationing retrograde. Yes. Once again, it feels like we just had one, but I think that's because time, it feels like it's speeding up. Let me get a sip here. Excuse me. Another retrograde. You'll find that, of course, with Mercury retrograde, you'll find that like there's a slowing down in pace. All right. You may notice that there's going to be some revision required around our plans, conversations that we intend to have or that we have had. Maybe we're going back and like, hey, I wish I would have said this, or this is what I meant. There could be something like that. And certainly decisions. Okay. These things are still forming. It's not that we are revising them because they're wrong. They're still like being formed here, where they're still being molded. So you may notice information arriving in fragments. Like, we could get some important information, early on in the retrograde, and then like be waiting for some more important information that we feel like is missing or is needed later on. Could be a week, 2 weeks. It's going to take some time. Like it feels like it's not coming through quick enough. The insight, though, okay, the truth is really going to come through reflection. So allow space for these reconsiderations, okay, these revisions, and notice what needs refinement because of the clarity that you might be getting during this time through the review. Okay, it's not going to be through movement. It's not going to be through productivity. It's going to be through making that time to sit with it. Okay, now let's step into this Mars square Uranus. Ugh. I feel like the Venus conjunct Mercury in Pisces on the same day, it might soften this a little bit. Just a little bit, but this is the most volatile point of the month, in my personal opinion. Okay. Mars square Uranus is really going to release tension that's been building beneath the surface. You're certainly going to see this in the collective. Again, Uranus ruling the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius representing humanity in the collective. Sudden reactions or impulsive actions might be something that you notice occurring, especially if frustration has been ignored. But awareness is going to stabilize. There's going to be some movement that feels necessary around this time, but it's going to be conscious movement. Adjustments will be made intentionally. Those adjustments that are made intentionally, you might notice are there to prevent some kind of rupture. Okay, so then again, Venus here conjunct Mercury in Pisces, again happening on the same day. This alignment's going to bring some emotional truth into language. Conversations around love. You could notice conversations around forgiveness or someone asking for forgiveness. Some sort of emotional honesty could really surface naturally during this time. There is going to be an opportunity for genuine connection. Okay. It's, I feel like it stands though on like whether there's clarity that's provided, clarity that is chosen over like fantasy. And so speaking from compassion while remaining grounded is really going to allow something real to be expressed. This, I don't know why, but the energy, the thing that they keep showing me around these two alignments on the same day is um, like the peace movement, um, like I'm trying to think of the right terminology here. It's not coming to me, but it's like it's like hippie-ish is how it's coming through. No offense, I love my hippies, okay, but it's like there could be all this chaos and all this strife, and it's like a warlike energy, but love and peace. But I feel like that's going to be more on our individual in the individual life of each other, right? The Mars square Uranus feels like something that's happening more collectively. So in our individual lives, it could feel a lot like peace is kind of coming home to roost in some way. That's just what I'm picking up intuitively. So let's step into a SWOT analysis here: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. I like to look at this, and we'll do this for the elements as well. So February strength really lies in our commitment and our follow through. Okay. Saturn's influence here is really going to support that maturity, this sense of resolve, and certainly our long term thinking. Okay. Um, the primary challenge that I feel like is going to come up is avoidance. Um, that hides behind like this sensitivity or spiritual bypassing. That Pisces energy is going to require some structure to remain productive when productivity is necessary. Okay. Um, opportunities that open through the Aquarius eclipse and Uranus direct, particularly around building something real from a long held vision, is going to be important um, to pay attention to as well. Okay, sorry, I didn't put that up. Um, but I feel like the main risk is going to come from the any sort of suppressed frustration. Again, that Mars energy square Uranus is it's not going to reward denial, that's for sure. Okay, I feel like again between the not just the eclipse, but I feel like between the 13th and like the end of the month, even through the eclipse in Virgo, I feel like we're really going to see something go down. Okay, collectively on the world stage. Um, yeah, for sure. Okay. By the way, what I am telling you is not what I have written on these slides. This is like what's on the slides is what's best for a slide. I'm just kind of adding to that, so make sure you're going through and reading those as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the elements here. Fire signs, you are really being asked to lead with discipline rather than impulse. That's something that certainly you guys have been working on. We've had Chiron and Aries. The dogs are like all swimming around me right now. um, your patience, fire signs, is really going to strengthen with your authority. Okay. So, excuse me, one moment, guys. Let me deal with the dogs. Okay, so back to it. Fire signs. February is really going to support you guys in a way that is going to feel maybe sobering, maybe not so much energizing, as you guys usually are quite energized. But Saturn's energy into Aries is really going to change how your initiative lands. Okay. There's going to be a lot of weight behind your actions during this time. When you move with intention, people are going to take you seriously. And so you may find that like leadership comes more naturally. Um, it's because you're going to be much clearer. You're not like loud. Okay. It's not because you're being loud or you're broadcasting or anything like that, but you're clearer. And so there is a growing capacity to hold this sense of authority without having to prove yourself. This is going to be especially noticeable for Aries placements, but Leo and Sag are going to feel it certainly too. But that's going to be through like this increased feeling of responsibility and visibility for you guys. The weakness here, the challenge really comes when you feel the momentum slowing down. Pisces season and Mercury shift into retrograde territory can feel like a resistance to your forward motion. And so you might notice that impatience could surface, especially if others are not moving at your pace. Um, there could be like an emotional nuance that could feel kind of distracting or even inefficient. You could notice that this could like lead to like some kind of frustration or burnout if you ignore it. The real opportunity here for my fire signs is the chance to anchor some kind of passion into something that really lasts for you. Saturn is going to support disciplined follow through. And so if you commit to one direction instead of like scattering your energy, you're going to notice that progress becomes sustainable. It's going to feel a lot less exhausting for you. And February is really going to reward the restraint over your speed. Okay. Um, the threat. Okay. Not laughing about the threat. I'm just laughing at this, how this is coming through to me, this Mars squaring Uranus. Okay. Late in the month, right? The 27th. It's particularly volatile for my fire signs, unfortunately. Suppressed frustration can erupt suddenly. This could come through confrontations. This could come through impulsive decisions. It could even come through some kind of power struggle that you might be dealing with. The work here for you guys in particular is going to be conscious release. Okay, movement is something to keep in mind if the movement is happening without awareness. Okay, it's really going to destabilize what you're trying to build if you don't maintain that awareness around it. Um, hang on, I've got to click a button here on this other computer. Okay, whatever. Thank you. Okay. All right, let's talk to my earth signs here. Earth signs. All right, that is of course Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Um, February might challenge your relationship with stability. Okay. Uranus stationing direct in Taurus works really strongly in your favor. There's a renewed clarity around like your finances, possibly your work structure, certainly your material goals. You're going to be able to really ground vision into practical systems for yourself, especially if you've been like quietly preparing for change over the last several months. This month is really going to support that long-term planning and restructuring, particularly when I can't say that particularly when you when you're when you're willing to update these outdated frameworks. um the weakness here, though, is that you may notice like difficulty arising when this predictability that you might like in your life becomes, please don't shoot the messenger, but a bit of a crutch. There may be some kind of resistance to necessary evolution. Okay. I feel like, especially for my Taurus, especially if like old methods that once provided security aren't really working for you anymore. They could even just feel heavy. In that case, they're not working for you anymore. They'd be more draining. You could notice too that like emotional processing can be deferred in favor of productivity, which you'll notice creates some kind of internal pressure later in the month. Okay. Opportunity here, February is really going to invite my earth signs to innovate without losing this sense of footing. Um, this is going to be a really powerful window to like redefine what stability actually means for you. Um, Small changes I want to tell you are really going to be made now, are going to have a lasting impact. So I feel like small changes are going to benefit you. Okay. Clinging to any sort of outdated systems here or avoiding emotional realities are going to create some kind of stagnation. That's the threat. Sudden shifts later in the month may feel really destabilizing if flexibility has not been practiced on your part. Okay. So adaptation is really going to preserve security better than control. So keep this in mind. All right, let's move on to our air signs. All right, so of course, this is our Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This month is really going to activate this future vision of yours, okay? The strength here for you, this Aquarius solar eclipse opens a really, a really potent channel for insight around your long-term goals, networks even, your collective contribution. Ideas are going to be plentiful and they're going to be forward focused. You may receive like these flashes of clarity about where your energy really belongs and where it no longer belongs. Pay attention to that in particular. You'll notice that your mental agility is higher, especially for my Aquarius placements, but all air signs are going to feel the pull toward this future oriented thinking. The weakness here, okay, the challenge is really lying in the over processing. Mercury's retrograde this month is really going to scatter our attention. Okay. It could complicate communication. If you have anything that you want to communicate, I recommend doing it now. Okay. Certainly before that retrograde takes place. Even before the pre-shadow. Okay. So you got a few weeks before, a couple weeks, about 2.5 weeks, I think, before that happens at the time I'm recording this. Which is on January 26th. You could also notice that the retrograde might create some kind of mental fatigue, okay? Detachment is really going to replace the embodiment if your ideas are not grounded into action. So be aware of that. The opportunity is that this is going to be a really ideal time to narrow your focus. When air signs commit to one clear direction, your vision turns into influence. So February is going to support that thoughtful realignment versus like constant effort toward it. Okay, it's going to be more about the conscious realignment of things in your life. The threat here is that avoidance through abstraction is going to weaken your momentum. Speaking without grounding can create this sense of confusion when you're really wanting clarity, especially later in the month. So the work here is really going to be about embodiment, okay? Not explanation, not explaining your actions, not explaining yourself, but in embodiment of your truth, right? All right, for my water signs, that would be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, of course. Ooh, February meets you guys in some familiar territory, okay, but it is going to ask for some structure from you guys. Pisces season, Venus in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, all heightened intuition, all of it, some kind of emotional depth that you're going to be moving through. One thing I also wanted to point out for my water signs is there's going to be a deep sense of spiritual perception. You're going to be able to sense the undercurrents that other people miss. So your emotional intelligence is going to be a major asset this month for you, especially when it comes to relationships and any sort of creative work that you might be doing. Connection could feel easier for you. You'll also find that like your compassion is flowing naturally. Don't self-abandon when that compassion is flowing quite naturally for you. I mean, generally it does, but even more so this month, don't self-abandon, okay? So the weakness this month is going to be that there could be some boundaries that are eroded, okay? There could be a sense of like emotional overwhelm, a sense of self-sacrifice. For some of you, some confusion can arise if your feelings aren't grounded. So you may notice that decision making may feel really difficult when everything is felt so deeply and simultaneously it could feel like a tsunami. Okay. Again, it's going to be important to remain grounded, use your emotional intelligence. The opportunity that's here for you, water signs, is the chance to really turn some emotional wisdom into a meaningful contribution in some area. Saturn's influence here is really going to support that structure. and allowing like the sensitivity that you naturally embody to become a thing that helps with productivity, instead of like allowing it to drain you. Like this is like funneling it into something. This is putting energy, energy flows where energy goes kind of thing. And so healing creative work, if you're doing anything like that, healing or creative work and creative work, maybe it's simultaneous for some of you. Um, it's really going to flourish when you pair it with some discipline. The threat here, though, is escapism. Okay. I feel like that's the primary risk. Avoiding like responsibility or kind of retreating into fantasy um, is going to undermine your growth. You'll notice that any sort of emotional flooding late in the month can interfere with your clarity. So you're really going to want to consciously like manage that. Okay. So each element this month is really being asked to mature in its own way. The astrology does not favor extremes. Okay. It's going to favor integration. So keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and get into the energy transmission portion of this for February. Show me the overall energy, please, for February. Clean it up. Okay. All right, let's get some overall energy here. Show me the overall energy, please. Show me overall energy, please, for February. We have the sun. Okay. So this is Leo energy. The dogs heard me do this on the table and they growled. All right, show me challenge, please. Show me challenge. Again, the sun moving into Pisces, February 18th. All right, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the challenge. Show me where the focus needs to be, please. Where does the focus need to be for February? We have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, I'm hearing what's not working. What's not working. Okay, show me what February is bringing in. What is February bringing in, please? What is February bringing in? Thank you. The Six of Pentacles. Okay, this could be support. What is the energy that we are exuding here by the end of the month? 10 of Pentacles. This could really be like, this month could really be the opportunity to ground something in reality or to stabilize something. It could be in our lives. Okay. Let's go back to the sun card here. Show me the sun. Show me the sun for February, the overall energy. What is this? Okay, we have the Seven of Wands. The Fool. There's resistance to like a new way. Okay, going down a new path, initiating new ideas. There's a resistance to this. I feel like this is about questioning, well, what is the goal? Is the goal for, to stand our ground, to dig our toes in on the way things have been, the way something has been in our life? Or is it for us to be happy? Is it to invite joy and creativity? And I'm hearing compassion as well. Okay, and we have the Page of Swords. This is learning something new, allowing ourselves to, be a little vulnerable, allowing ourselves to become more of a student-like energy, to be maybe even an observer, to invite the idea of something new. Aquarius energy, also, again, Uranus energy as well. And then, of course, we have the sun. Um, Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of new leadership show up, okay, or leadership being front and center in some way this month. Maybe even revelations again, something coming out about leadership could be potential for that. But I'm seeing ideas and I'm seeing maybe even conversations. But it is about like new ways. I am seeing resistance though. I'm seeing heels dug in. I'm seeing being ooh, I just heard belligerent. I'm seeing like a resistance to change as well. Okay. Let's look at the Queen of Cups here in the challenge. Wherever those hardened energies are, heels dug in, resistance to change, I feel like there's going to be more again revealed about that again collectively, individually, certainly. But there's something about asking ourselves like what is the goal here? What is the actual goal? You may find that there's some people in your life or and you could see this collectively that don't really want a resolution to something. Their goal is not resolution. Their goal may be, I'm going to fight against this. I'm going to defend this. I'm going to push against this. Um, Not open to a new path is something that I'm seeing. Okay. And again, that could be for you individually, not just collectively. But that Aquarian energy is there. So I do feel like it could, of course, we're going to see this. We're already seeing it. Okay. In the collective um, going on right now. Let's look at the Queen of Pentacles here in the challenge. Show me this Queen of Pentacles, please. In the challenge position. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords. We have the Hierophant. And the Knight of Cups. Let me just clarify that Knight of Cups here. Show me a little more about that. Because this is not about romance. That's not what I'm seeing. Show me this Knight of Cups. The Two of... that's what I thought. This is about compassionate new direction and openness around new direction. And that being, again, resisted. I was picking it up here. A new direction that where we're open to ideas, we're open to conversation, to dialogue. That's something that someone in your life may be resistant to. It could be you that's resistant to it. It's because we have a way of thinking, because something has always been a certain way, or we have maybe even we're conditioned to be in this energy. Maybe this is like and again, it's not just you. This is happening to everybody in some way, and we're interacting with pieces on the board here. So, I feel like managing something here with that Queen of Pentacles being the underlying energy, or the overall energy rather, in the challenge. Um, it's going to be hard to change somebody's mind. Okay, it could be you. It might be hard to change your mind in some area as well. But this is about being open to a new direction, and there being resistance to this because it's always been this way. We've always, done it this way, or this has always been the line of thinking, or this has always been the belief. This is getting out of some sort of pre-existing structure. I'm also hearing controls. I'm also hearing that. It's like settings. They're showing me like default settings. They're showing me like a phone specifically. So this could be like something about programming for sure. Okay. We undergo a lot of programming just in our everyday, our environments as we're coming up as children and things like that. So I think this might be about getting out of some kind of programming, and there's resistance to that. Again, it's kind of repeating here. But observe, I think observation, new ideas, or something that's going to be in play. Again, I would watch this reading from a collective perspective. Watch it twice. Watch it from at least twice. Watch it from a collective perspective, and then watch it from an individual perspective. Okay? Otherwise, if we're like bobbing and weaving between collective and then individual and then back to collective and individual, it's going to be confusing. So I just invite you to watch it twice, once through a collective lens, once through an individual lens. This clean it up energy seems, again, there's new ideas, there's new things that are new paths that are being made available or being paved. And it's in an effort to make something better, is what I'm seeing, to make something more, I'm hearing sound. Um, but again, I'm seeing resistance on some level here. Okay. So let's focus here. Where should we should focus our energy actually with the Nine of Wands? Show me more about this. I'll pull for each element as well. If I forget, it'll probably end up in a separate video. Hopefully I won't forget. I get so tuned in, sometimes I forget to, like, I say I'm gonna do something, and then I end it, and I could completely I forget it, but I also think it's somehow relevant, like I did the last time with doing the scrying mirror for the consecration. I totally forgot it. Okay, I see you. This card coming through. All right, we have the Tower. There's gonna be, yeah, I feel like a sense of frustration here, a sense of, like, exhaustion around something that happens. Now, this could be, Saturn moving into Aries. Okay, I see Aries, Scorpio here. Scorpio's ruling planet Pluto is in the sign of Aquarius. Now it's been doing its slow moving planet, so it's doing its work slowly. It's like the rumbling under the surface of all the astrology going on right now. Let's take a look a little deeper here. There's going to be some fears here that come up. And the Four of Cups. There's going to be some disappointment and some fears that come up. Okay, so buckle in for that. There's Pluto. Death. I feel like there's going to be this sense of frustration and disappointment. Okay. That something is, I got to look at this Tower. Just give me a minute. That there's something going down here, it looks like, where that's going to gin up some fears. This, again, watch it collectively, then watch it individually. The Tower can be like a realization. The Tower can be like, I come up to the precipice of this new thing, this new opportunity, and then I disappoint myself by letting the fears take over and not initiating it. It could be that on an individual level. Show me this Tower. King of Cups. There's going to be something here. I just feel this collective. There's going to be something here. There's going to be a loss of hope. Okay. I don't feel like it is. I don't feel like there needs to be a loss of hope. I feel like this is going to gin up some emotion, some strong emotion. Our job is to remain emotionally sound. Okay. I just feel, I have to say, this kind of feels like it's on the world stage in some way. Again, I told you that Mars square Uranus energy. 7. Yeah, there's been like a building up is what I'm seeing. I'm hearing prelude. There's something I'm hearing more severe, interesting, that's going to be transpiring here. Okay. I feel like it's going to be our job to remain emotionally intelligent, grounded emotionally. We're not going to want to let the fears kind of overcome and drain the hope. Okay. Excuse me. Show me more about this moon. It could also be something that we've been working on collectively or individually over a period of time. And then, like, there's something that transpired, like, for example, okay, this is just an example. I'm not saying this is what this is. You've been, hoarding away like a little squirrel, your cash, right? Put it in a high yield savings account. And then all of a sudden the markets crash, or that would be more of it like a stock or investment, right? But it could be maybe the financial system crashes or something like that. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just giving you an example. Okay. And like, gosh, all that I put away and all of that I invested, because the Seven of Pentacles talks about investment, is like, it's a loss, right? So again, there could be some frustration and disappointment that shows up around something that transpires where you're really going to need to get a hold of yourself. Okay. Get a hold of yourself, man. All right. That's going to be important to keep your head about you, but it's more about the emotions that this gens up. Pay attention when this happens and what emotion comes up for you, what fear comes up for you, because it's going to give you some clarity into something that's much more psychological, much more deeply psychological. Okay. Pay attention to it. All right. Show me the Six of Pentacles here. What this month is bringing in. Okay. Again, support. I'm hearing reorder, like a reordering, a reorganizing of something here. I'm going to keep it reversed. Three of Pentacles reversed. Nine of Pentacles. Okay. This is like, you can, you can hold your position and I'll hold my position, but we're going to find some peace here in the middle. This is about like bringing balance to something, showing support for something. I'm hearing mitigating as well. There seems to be like people that aren't on board and it's okay to like venture out alone. Okay. So for some of you, say somebody's not on board with an idea that you have at work. Okay. This is like, okay, I'll find peace and I'll do something on my own, or it's like finding a solution on our own here. Okay. I do see stability coming from this. Finding a place of stability, finding a like solid ground here to stand on. Again, even if something's not working out or others aren't on board. Tell me a little more. Some of you could be finding that you're leaving groups of people or environments or just individual people that are not supportive. You might be finding that that is the thing that is keeping something out of balance in your life, or that is keeping you from moving forward in some area of your life. You may find that to be the case. And this could be you moving away from whatever that situation is as well, if it's not supportive. But I'm seeing like moving in a direction of where we find support, where we offer support, whatever that is for you. Give me a little more about the Six of Pentacles and Temperance, please. Six of Wands. Yeah, it's like I'm hearing common ground. It's like we're looking at like, how can we make this work first? How can we make this successful first? But then it's like there's some kind of like, okay, that's not going to work. And so here's my, this is like showing me the exit here. This is showing me like, okay, if this isn't going to work, then I have to take a different approach, or I have to go in a different direction. For a lot of you, you may be separating from something. Okay. It can be anything: a friend group, family, work environment, a relationship, whatever it is. All right, let's look at the energy that we're in by the end of the month, which the Ten of Pentacles is beautiful because we're going from the Nine of Pentacles, stepping out on our own, branching out on our own, going where we do feel like we belong, or where we do feel like we're on solid ground, and then landing somewhere pretty solid here. I think whatever this tower is just going to be more, there could be something financial involved. I'm not saying there is, but it feels more like it's an emotional, there's an emotional charge with whatever this is, but it brings clarity. Okay, we have the Three of Cups. Yeah, this is one of those moments. The energy that you're in is like, I'm so glad that I did this. Yeah, it hurt to do it, but I'm so glad that I did it. It's like celebrating a door being shut, celebrating something not working out here. Show me more about the Three of Swords. You have the Two of Cups here. This is like landing in the right place, landing with where you feel aligned. Interesting. So this is where compassion comes through. You're having compassion for yourself with what, maybe how you've betrayed yourself, maybe how you've hurt yourself, but it could also be, you could be having compassion for those that maybe you feel like you've hurt yourself too. Maybe you've hurt others in some way. Maybe even unbeknownst to you, there's strength. Beautiful. And the Chariot. So we are moving forward here, pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps here and moving forward. It's a hard thing to do, but it's the right thing to be doing. And so it's like there's a freeing that's happening. We're like cutting loose some kind of rope here. We're cutting something loose to get, it's like having one of those, what are those things called? Parachute resistance thingamabobs, I think is the proper term. Like football players lose it, wind resistance training. I think that's what it is. That's the actual terminology. It's like cutting that loose and being able to fully move forward, to fully embodying new beliefs, I feel like is part of this. And there's the Ace of Cups. There's a lot of compassion for the other side of something, the other side that doesn't agree. There's a lot of compassion for yourself, for like allowing something to go on maybe as long as it did, or to, compassion for like, this is where I hurt and this is what has stopped me from moving forward. So clean it up seems like it's accurate because there's something that's being kind of plucked out, removed. I feel like this is consciously a decision that you might be making. Even though I don't necessarily see cards of decision, the Two of Swords is really the only card I'm seeing there. But I do feel a decision being made. I mean, you have the Two of Cups as well. Again, I'm so glad I did this, is the energy that I'm getting, because it's more stable. Something is not stable when it's not working with us or it's not supporting us, right? It's creating that instability. So we're removing any sort of instability. All right, let's pull for each zodiac sign. We'll start with not each zodiac sign, my apologies, each element. Let's start with fire signs. Overall energy for fire signs. Wow. Okay, you got a few here. You got exchanging gifts. We have yang energy. We have go the distance. Yeah. Okay. This actually feels like a bit of a vision that you might be carrying out, or something that you feel is really important to you, that you want to, this could be like leadership that you're stepping into, leading in some area. Okay. It feels like you're giving back in some way. Let's see. For some of you, this could be also opening yourself up to something. Show me for fire signs. What is this? Three of Cups. Okay. Interesting. Seven of Wands. Ace of Wands. You're not stopping yourself anymore is what I'm seeing, from something, from connecting with something, from connecting with someone. Two of Cups. Wow. I feel like you're seeing like the potential for a partner. It could be romantic or otherwise, okay? This could be somebody seeing potential with you as well. This is about moving something forward, having an idea, initiating something here, carrying something out. There's been resistance to this is what I'm seeing, or there's been like a block to this. That looks like that's being removed. Okay, beautiful. I just see Scorpio underneath the deck, so this could involve a Scorpio. You could have that in your chart. All right, show me for earth signs, please. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. What is the overall energy here of February for earth signs? Come to the edge. This is like taking a risk is what I'm getting. Show me more about this come to the edge energy for my earth signs, please. Let me move fire over a little bit. Okay, show me for my earth signs, please. Two of Pentacles. Nine of Swords. Yeah, you're not sure about something here. I'm seeing the Knight of Cups and the Sun. You're going to get some kind of clarity. Something's going to be like doing this number to you, like come this way. Okay. Up until that point, I feel like you are going to be a little stressed about a direction that you're going, or something that you're feeling led to do, but you have some fears and anxieties around it here. You're worried about it. Okay. This could also be you trying to mitigate something, trying to get out in front of something. I feel like there's going to be something that invites you in the right direction. And I feel like it might even take your mind off of this if it's something separate, or this could be clarity around like you don't no need to fear kind of thing. Again, come this way is how I'm feeling it. There might be something that shows up to kind of take your mind off of the anxiety and the worry or the stress that you might be experiencing this month. Pay attention to what that is. Could be a Leo. Doesn't have to be a person. It's certainly going to be something that enlightens you is what I'm feeling. Or it could be more about you needing to focus on joy. I'm hearing instead of the standard. I don't know if that's for someone in particular, but I'm hearing instead of the standard. Okay, can you show me, please, for my air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius for the month of February, please? Okay, we have time for a nap. Okay, rest. I know y'all are tired of hearing that, especially Aquarius. Okay, show me time for a nap here for the month of February for air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have the Six of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, I think I know what this is for you. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. Okay, and the Three of Wands. You're needing to be still instead of doing, okay? And the reason I'm saying that is because I feel like something is going to be shown to you that is in support of you. All right. And I feel like this is going to, like, you wouldn't notice it if you were busy. You wouldn't see the significance of it if you were busy. If you're doing, if you're managing, this is about maybe paying more attention to your self-care here. Um, it does have to do with your contentment, your fulfillment in the future. This feels like a bit of a gateway here. The month of February does. Okay. Again, you're gonna number one, supporting yourself. For some of you, there could be a focus on your finances, or you need to stop at what you're doing and kind of have a, as Mel Robbins called it, a money date. Okay. Have a money date with yourself. For some of you, that is the case. Okay. But be still so that you can recognize something, so that you can see something here that's trying to reveal itself to you. Okay. All right, let's take a look here. Last but not least, of course, for my water signs, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Time to go. Okay. Oof. All right. Show me this time to go energy for the month of February for my water signs, please. Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. Okay. We have the Page of Wands. Oops. Page of Wands. Oof, definitely time to go. The Chariot. Temperance. And the Four of Wands. Yeah, I gotta say, there's either there could be something that feels like it's calling you. Okay, if that is the case, again, this could be something that's pulling you away from something else. There could be a need to leave something behind potentially. This feels like you're feeling pulled, you're feeling called. Now, for some of you, there's going to be some sort of knee jerk comment, something that is said that is impulsive, and that's going to be your cue to go. Okay, for someone, I get that as well. But you're going to land on stable ground, is what I'm seeing. In fact, I feel like it's already been prepared for you in a way. This is just about your action, and for some of you, it's removing yourself from a situation or from an environment. Okay. I'm seeing the star here underneath the deck as well. I feel like that's relevant. And the Lovers. So wherever you land here, the right direction is going to lead you to some kind of alignment. All right, let's get okay, man, I've been getting pulled to this deck quite a bit lately. The Shaman Oracle. Let's pull from this here, and then we'll pull a crystal to help support us for the month. You will also find in a couple days your Leo full moon. It might already be up. I don't know. By the time I record this, I'll probably have that close to being recorded. This will go up before the Leo full moon, but pay attention, because before the 1st, okay, today is the 26th that I'm recording it. Before the 1st, you will have, probably be, let's see, 27th, 28th, probably be the 28th or 29th when I get it posted. Just a heads up that it's going to be up for you guys, okay? And that will be the astrology and the energy transmission. Okay, show me, please. Guidance, advice, reminders, clarity, confirmation, please, for February 2026. We have sky dancers. Oh, okay. Surrender to number 48, breaking down to a 12, breaking down to a 3. Okay. Come back here. All right. This says surrender, liberation from attachment, surrender. When a sky dancer appears, it's inviting you to welcome the deepest power of the feminine into your life. One moment, guys. There's nothing there. You have already overanalyzed your situation to exhaustion. Now is the time to invite, the dogs are distracting me. Quiet. Now is the time to invite the sacred feminine, the wisdom within your heart, no matter your gender, to guide you to success. If you have become earthbound, plotting and planning and praying for change, cease and desist. Break the habit of being yourself, of repeating the same behavior and hoping for a different outcome. Stop trying to figure it all out and stop overthinking it. Surrender. The sky dancers are heralding the arrival of a new relationship with yourself, in your work, or in your love life. Ember. Quiet girls get cookies. Shh. Do not assume that this person or opportunity will rescue you. The only way to liberation is to kiss the ground goodbye and take flight, to rise above the fray and the drama of the struggling, arguing mind. Dance in the sky and view the madness below by simply witnessing the actors and the human comedy unfolding on the ground. You are transforming it. As you observe the drama, you unleash the power of the sacred feminine that allows for resolution. The sky dancers know the maps of heaven and the way to the holiest and most sacred spaces on earth. They come to help you with your current life and, even more important, to guide you to the realization of your own identity. These planets moving into Aries, I'm telling you. Okay. Let's pull a crystal here and see what can best support us for the month of February. Okay. I know what this is, but I can't pronounce it. So hold on a minute. Okay. I figured out a way to remember this. It's chrysocolla. I just always have to look at it very carefully. Chrysocolla, like Pensacola, but chrysocolla. Okay. So this carries the energy of truth held calmly, which is really interesting because we were seeing that tower. It's not about confrontation. It's not about confrontation. It's not a confrontational energy. It supports non-confrontation. Like, yeah, is that how I'm saying that right? But it's not like a crystal that assists with silence either, right? It's embodied truth, which is something that came through in was it water signs? But also in general, I mean, collectively, we were seeing that. So it really supports, it says here, those who are learning how to speak without leaking energy and how to hold authority without force. It's great for the throat chakra. It clears fear around speaking truth. It helps you to articulate emotions that feel complex or layered. It's excellent for teachers, guides, readers, writers, and anyone whose voice carries responsibility. It supports measured speech, knowing when to speak and when to remain still. Perfect. Perfect crystal for this month. This is a stone that teaches discernment and communication. It's great for the heart chakra as well. It softens emotional reactivity, also needed. It helps you to stay open without overgiving, and it encourages compassion without self-abandonment. Didn't I mention that earlier? Don't abandon yourself. All right, chrysocolla is especially helpful when you're learning to hold boundaries while remaining loving. Also, this card represented feminine energy. It does mention feminine wisdom and inner authority. It's often called a stone of the divine feminine. It supports emotional maturity and self sovereignty. It helps to integrate intuition with grounded decision making. It's excellent during periods where you're stepping into quiet leadership. This feels like the leadership in your life in some way, shape, or form, for sure, for each of you. Okay. The emotional alchemy here, it transmutes anger into clarity. It calms anxiety that comes from holding too much. excuse me, too much in. It supports emotional regulation during high stress conversations. It does not suppress emotion. It helps to refine the emotion. It's ideal for meditation before speaking publicly or having difficult conversations. So is howlite, by the way. Especially with difficult conversations, it can be a very calming stone. It's powerful for rituals involving truth, release, and reconciliation. It's helpful for empaths learning energetic containment. Hold it at the throat or heart during reflection. Keep it nearby when writing or recording. Use it before important conversations to center your voice. This stone is for people who already carry wisdom and are learning how to express it without distortion. Okay, beautiful. Seems like the perfect one for me. For us, I should say. In my opinion, it is the perfect one. Okay, for what we're seeing here this month. So I'm gonna get this guys get this to you. I hope that you guys have a beautiful February. Of course, I'll see you between now and then. Just for reference, if you are not getting your videos, it's not through the Oracle Vault anymore. It's through the Transmission Vault, which you'll find a navigation button in your portal to go there. Okay. All right, loves. I will see you in the next one. Take good care.